Welcome back to Paul's Tech News. It has been a bit of a dramatic week in the world of PC hardware tech, and this time it wasn't caused by Nvidia or Intel or AMD, but by the very tech reviewers who were supposed to bring balance to the industry, not leave it in darkness. So yes, I will be going over the week of shame and ignominy that the folks over at Linus Media Group have been toiling through, and I will give some personal thoughts and feedback, but there's a decent chance that if you're watching this video, you're already well aware of the situation and even perhaps a bit tired of it, as it has saturated the news feeds ever since the Gamers Nexus video that sparked the controversy went up back on Monday. Since then, there has been no shortage of posts, memes, reaction videos, and general vitriol carelessly tossed into the mix to further fuel the dumpster fire that, at the very least, seems to have burned its way down to a smoldering trash can fire by week's end. But whether you're here for that or for the other tech news, such as a newly leaked Threadripper CPU, Intel's strides forward with Arc GPU development, or the absurd amount of cash Nvidia stands to make in the AI space, I'd recommend using the timestamps that I conveniently add to each episode to navigate to the thing you most want to see, even if that means jumping back to rewatch this intro again. Then I could enjoy this beer twice. It's time for tech news.
Excellent!
Today's video is brought to you by Thermaltake's CTE series cases, the C750 Air and C750 TG. CTE stands for Centralized Thermal Efficiency, and the 90-degree rotated motherboard mount, dual chamber design, and 3 included 140mm CT140 fans ensure that your PC parts stay cool and quiet no matter what hardware you install. The C750 Air maximizes airflow with extensive ventilation, while the C750 TG provides an additional 4mm tempered glass front panel, and both support up to eATX-sized motherboards. For more on Thermaltake's CTE series cases, click the sponsor link in the video description. Alright, I debated whether or not to lead with this, but here it is, as succinct a recap as I can manage on the Linus Tech Tips situation this week. First, a summary and timeline, and then some light feedback and analysis. It all started Monday when Gamers Nexus published a 44-minute video titled "The Problem with Linus Tech Tips: Accuracy, Ethics, and Responsibility." In typical GN fashion, Steve presented a thesis that Linus Media Group and its associated YouTube channels were rushing out content in a quantity over quality type fashion that led to regular errors and omissions in the data presented, particularly when it comes to the testing and benchmarking of PC hardware. He then backed up that thesis with a litany of examples. Errors were found in multiple GPU, CPU, PSU, and cooling tests, and errors that were caught in post-production were being fixed with quick on-screen text corrections that are easy to miss. Steve also pointed out ethical concerns with regards to sponsorships and conflicts of interests, and real-world implications of hastily made bad reviews for products like the Ponage mouse and, most egregiously, a custom-built GPU water block prototype built by a small company called Billet Labs, which was tested on the wrong GPU, dismissed as a bad product, and then never returned despite Billet Labs requesting it back multiple times. More on that in a moment, but as of Monday, the initial response to the Gamers Nexus video was at least somewhat mixed. While many agreed with Steve's assessment, others pointed out that GN themselves handle PC hardware lab testing and that attacking LMG in this way was uncalled for, coming from a competitor in the YouTube tech review space. Public opinion began to turn against LTT, however, as things escalated quickly over the next 24 hours. GN's video took off, gaining more than 2 million views in the first day and drawing more eyeballs towards the issue. Linus responded within 2 to 3 hours with a lengthy post on the LTT forums, expressing disappointment with Steve for not going through proper journalistic practices by contacting LMG ahead of time before posting his video, and attempting to explain the Billet Labs situation while expressing sadness about the community backlash. The community did seem most upset about the Billet Labs situation out of all the things that were revealed in the video, apart from the bad look that Linus gave them in the video on the GPU block on LTT originally. Billet Labs also never received their prototype unit back because it was somehow accidentally auctioned off at LTX as part of the fundraiser for the Extra Life booth. Unfortunately for Linus, Billet Labs also posted a public response, and it became evident that there was a lot of internal miscommunication on the LMG side, and also that Team Linus did not follow up about the situation in earnest until a couple hours after the Gamers Nexus video went up on Monday. Also, unfortunately for Linus, the public outrage machine was working full tilt on Monday and Tuesday, and Linus forum post replies were not sitting well with the community by way of explanation. Steve was also full of disappointment on that day, and he appended a segment to his Tuesday hardware news video specifying exactly why Linus's forum reply was not acceptable, such as when Linus said the Billet Labs block was auctioned, not sold, for some reason, as if that made it better, and doubling down on the product being bad even though they did not test it properly. Steve also clarified the timeline with Billet Labs and confirmed that LMG's responses to Billet were very much in reaction to the recent public outcry versus LMG reaching out proactively to handle the situation properly. And so, a situation that Linus might have handled gracefully with an apology and a bit of owning up was instead exacerbated by the appearance of a cover-up, and once again, more fuel was added to the fire. By Tuesday, the LMG executive staff had apparently recognized that the situation was getting more serious, and that a forum post would not be enough to appease upset viewers. So they produced a response video that day, Tuesday, that aired Wednesday morning, titled "What Do We Do Now?", headed up by their new CEO Taryn Tong, and featuring team leaders from throughout the organization talking about their plans to make things right, which included a temporary pause in video production, which seemed badly needed. But once again, the timing for LMG was quite terrible, as another bombshell had dropped late Tuesday night, a lengthy set of Twitter posts by ex-LMG employee Madison Reeve detailing very serious allegations about her time there, the toxic work environment and grind culture that affected her mental and physical health, and sexual harassment that went either unnoticed or unpunished. This immediately escalated the situation even further, and by contrast, the semi-serious tone, casual jokes about sponsor spots, and merch tie-ins from the LMG team's response apology video, as well as the fact that it was initially monetized, seemed callous and unsympathetic to the situation at hand, to say the least. Madison's posts have also been backed up by another former LMG employee, Colin, who also posted a response on Twitter. Now, there are certainly more details to speak of surrounding these events over the past week, but those are the main points in the timeline. In the ensuing days, sub counts for the main LTT channel, and most noticeably Floatplane, have dropped noticeably, with Floatplane going from around 42,000 to about 37,000, and as of filming at least, they're down closer to 36,000. I am happy to report that Madison's allegations are being taken seriously. Taryn has stated that they'll be hiring a third-party investigator for that, and hopefully some justice will be done. Meanwhile, Linus Tech Tips and its satellite channels have already missed some uploads, as they said they would, and the WAN show was canceled for the first time in living memory on Friday, which was definitely the right call, despite how many people were looking forward to more juicy live hot takes to add to the drama. For my part, I hope that LMG can take the steps needed to ease their workload and refocus on quality content versus rushing to meet arbitrary daily upload schedules. I hope the team members who got caught up in all of this through no fault of their own can rise above and persevere. I hope Linus can do something I know he's done many times before: take a step back, take a deep breath, gain some perspective, and do better for his employees and his viewers. I hope those same viewers can recognize that there were a lot of mistakes uncovered this week, but by and large they were not intentional or malicious. And I hope we can all recognize that anyone who would treat someone in the way Madison described is just a massive shit stain, and fuck that person. I hope the rest of their life is miserable. To close off this bit, I attempted some proper journalistic practices and reached out for a quote from the man who started it all, GN Steve. My question was this how you were expecting things to fall out after your original LTT video went up? Steve replied, Linus's forum reply that he posted immediately following the video was disappointing and baffling, but also showed us his unfiltered thoughts. As for the community response, we try not to apply any expectations to the audience and instead provide our findings to allow consumers to decide how to proceed after that. Just much the same way he goes about doing his reviews. Wise words, Steve, but if you ever decide to make a video like that about my channel, please really do email me first. Need a drink after all that. Right, at last I can move on to the real tech news about actual hardware and stuff, but let's do it efficiently via tech briefs. Many have echoed the refrain in the past year or two that it is Intel, not AMD, who might actually bring some balance to the GPU marketplace and offer us not stupidly overpriced video cards. And indeed, maybe they've already done that with their current Arc series, which continued to gain performance through driver updates. Intel's most recent update went live Wednesday, and their claim of a 12 to 19% performance boost in DirectX 11 titles has been tested by hot hardware and proven to be pretty much accurate, even going beyond that in some titles like GTA Online, which saw a 28% uplift. Intel also has a new software package with a PresentMon overlay that shows a new metric called GPU Busy, which should help to demystify whether your GPU performance is being more limited by your CPU being too slow or other hardware variables at play. The driver and software are available from Intel now, and Hot Hardware went as far as to say that with the updates, there's no better GPU to buy right now at $250 than the Arc A750. But what's next for Intel GPUs? That would be Battlemage, and a leak posted to Twitter by Harukaze5719 has possibly revealed some new info about Arc's successor. The image here shows an interposer test tool made for BGA GPUs, and what is notable is the size. The BGA 2727-BMG-X3-6CH appears to indicate that at least one Battlemage chip will be 2.5% larger in terms of package size than its Arc predecessor. And while some might say that package size isn't everything, I say that bigger is better. And PC Gamer agrees with me. Some back-of-the-napkin math and a healthy dose of extrapolation leads them to believe that the big Battlemage GPU could provide RTX 4080-like performance. And while that should be taken with a big old dose of skeptic's salt, it sure would be nice to have another GPU on the market with RTX 4080-like performance. Even AMD has a tough time doing that right now. Speaking of AMD, perhaps they won't give us enthusiasts another mainstream Threadripper CPU, but they sure can make us drool over the possibilities of what might have been had they not abandoned the high-end desktop space back in the Threadripper 3000 days. This week's leak comes from a Geekbench score for an HP Z6 G5 workstation that was apparently equipped with a Threadripper PRO 7995WX CPU featuring 96 cores and 192 threads. It also uses DDR5 memory, of course, 512 gigabytes of it, and hit a peak frequency of 5.14 gigahertz, which is not too shabby at all for a 96-core processor. And the overall score of 81,408 is technically a world record, according to HardwareBot. I wonder how much these CPUs will cost. I have also wondered how much it costs Nvidia to produce one of their specialized AI processors, and we apparently have an answer. According to Barron's senior writer Tae Kim, an H100 costs Nvidia an estimated $3,320 per chip and peripheral components. And they sell for $25,000 to $30,000 each. So that's roughly a 1,000% markup. Not bad in terms of profit margin. That's not even considering the H800, which is Nvidia's cut-down variant of the H100, built to ship to China and still meet export restrictions, which have reportedly been selling for $50,000 to $70,000 each across the Pacific, where AI farms are a bit tougher to assemble. And how many of these GPUs does Nvidia move each year? Well, for 2023, 550,000 units, according to Financial Times. Best get out your calculator with the widescreen display, because if you do the math on that, it's conservatively about $25 billion in revenue just for the H100s that Nvidia will bring in. New buyers for these AI chips include Saudi Arabia and the UAE, who have decided that after their oil runs out, they'll just make money with AI stuff. Lastly, and I can't believe I didn't lead with this, your PC might have RAM, but does it have ULTRARAM? Well, it should. ULTRARAM just earned itself a Most Innovative Award at the Flash Memory Summit because it combines the high performance of DRAM with the non-volatility of Flash, which sounds like an impossible best of both worlds scenario, but that's probably why it is a bit more complex than typical components. Invented by Professor Manus Hain from the physics department at Lancaster University, ULTRARAM uses quantum mechanical resonant tunneling to store data, meaning it's not even silicon-based. It uses compound semiconductors such as gallium gallium antimonide or indium arsenide to do its thing, and likely future uses include servers, which already use a ton of power refreshing today's typical volatile RAM solutions. ULTRARAM will, in theory, store your bits for more than 1,000 years. So even a millennia after you die, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren will be able to dig up your internet browsing history. What a promising future we all have to look forward to. One last note, and that is that a week from today, on Sunday the 27th, there will be a fan meetup with me, my friend Kyle, aka Bitwit. It will be at a local park here in Southern California. We're not trying to make a huge deal out of it. We don't want anyone making plans or trying to travel from further away, but we are gonna have some snacks and we'll be able to hang out with some fans and have a great time. But that is all I have for now. There you have it, tech news for the week. And if you liked it, click that like button, leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all the articles I talked about today are linked in the description if you're interested, and you can check out my store at paulshardware.net for high quality merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, beer sets, and more. Subscribing to my channel is always a good call too. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you next week.